A new organization called Concerned Lawyers and Educationists for Equality Before the Law intends to challenge the Public Protector's report into Nkandla. The group says Thuli Madonsela's report is, I quote, inaccurate, inconsistent, and full of contradictions. The leader of this new organization is Comfort Ngidi, and he joins me now to discuss his campaign. Mr. Ngidi, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you, Justice, and thank you for having us.
Who are you? What's this organization?
It's a group, briefly, it's a group of individuals who are intent on protecting the Constitution and also protecting the office of the Public Protector. In that there are areas in her report, we have taken it and decided that we must assist her. Remember the duty of lawyers all over historical here, ya Mandela, ya Nkandla, ya Babu Achikumet, ya MJ Naidu. We have always been in the forefront of protecting society, and in this case we have to protect the Constitution and also protect the Public Protector's office.
So can I just in establishing, is it 5 of you, 10 of you? How many are you now?
When we started, it was about 10 lawyers, maybe 5 educators, but it's gone to, we have people in Mpumalanga, we have people in Johannesburg, lawyers, and an organization that organizes progressive professionals, headed by the President Jimmy Manyi, has now also endorsed our group, and they're part of us.
So you're not an old organization, you're a pop-up. You just came up now to own this particular issue.
When we started, we were a group that started at the time, but as we're going through, all of us are obvious people with a history of having participated in issues that affects our society. And the name or calling us as the concerned group only occurred because we didn't have any other reason. We are concerned about the erosion of the Constitution. We are concerned about the Public Protector making blatant areas which will show to you and their.
I'll come back to that in a second, but I want to ask you, I mean, isn't it, I look back at your history, in 2007, you started something called the Democratic Professionals Association of South Africa, and it was doing exactly this, and it was campaigning for President Zuma, essentially, when he faced legal troubles during his rape trial and during his corruption case.
You won't believe that I haven't. That was not the beginning. At the university, I was an activist, defended some students. At work, I worked for a trade union. I was a trade union official. And when I became a lawyer, my principle is simple. We have to be treated equally, whether you're the president of the country or you're an ordinary citizen.
No, fair enough, Mr. Ngidi,
yes.
But in December 2006, you visited Nkandla yourself and a few lawyers, and then you came out and you started the Democratic Professionals Association of SA. Now it seems as if you use your professional capabilities, and I'm sure you're very capable to protect President Zuma. This is not about the Public Protector or the office.
It's not much about President Zuma. At the time, what had offended lawyers, remember the Scorpions raided the attorneys' offices in Durban and in Johannesburg. They also raided attorneys' offices, and our protest as attorneys at the time was that it was not proper for the police officers to get into the attorney's office and say, we're looking for your client's statement. But again, we then went to Mr. Zuma to say to him, we are sorry, we feel the Scorpions have committed wrong.
The Scorpions had been going for quite a long time. You didn't raise this. The Public Protector's Office, Selby Batwa, the other gentlemen who left, they've been public protectors. You never felt the need to protect these offices until, hello, President Zuma comes along.
I'll tell what's the history to this particular one. On the human rights, I requested, through the social network, I requested lawyers to take time out, their own time, and read the Public Protector's report. That was over the weekend, from the 21st up to Monday evening. Monday evening, I then said those who had read the report should meet, and let's hear what are their views. And that's how it
But President Zuma happens to be the one line that connects these two cases.
Yeah, the concerns that we raised, the contradictions that we raised, would raise them had we read the report. If it was Justice or if it was anybody, When you see them, you'll agree with us that they are so serious that, in our view...
Give me some of those objections you have.
Let me take the first one. The public protector says in the statement that she read to you when she presented the report, my office is further responsible under Section 182(4) to be accountable to all persons and communities. There's nothing like that. Section 182(4) says the public protector must be accessible to all persons, not accountable. But she's confusing that with Section 181, which says the public protector is accountable to the National Assembly. That's the first step.
She has now, this report has been provided to the National Assembly. That is why we have an ad hoc committee.
I hope she has, because that's what the Constitution says, and she did not do that. And we're saying...
Okay, but that's not the meat of the
second error, the errors are too many. The second error, she says... Give
me a major one.
Yeah, she says Section 140 of the Constitution, which provides for the order of the President, and states that the President should protect and promote the rights of all people within the Republic. 140 has got nothing to do with the President. It's a section which deals with it's a section which deals with the premiers, the executive.
Okay, let's get to the heart of it, because you visited Nkandla in 2006. We've established that. Didn't you? I mean, the heart of this is whether the president unduly benefited. Now, you went there in 2006 before government started securing the place. Between 2009 and 2014, surely you'll agree with me that 246 million rand is a lot of money to spend on this house.
Justice, I'm glad you are mindful of that. Pre-2009, Mr. Zuma, President Zuma, had built those houses. Those of us who went to those houses, so it's factually inaccurate and incorrect to say he built the Nkandla houses, because they were built pre-2009.
I said security upgrades, security upgrades, which turn out some of them are not security upgrades. A fire pool, for example, or the swimming pool is not a security upgrade.
The public protector says, according to her report, I have not completed my report, and I could not do ABC. If you go to page 108 of her report, she says she's not completed the report. Then the obvious question that you have is that how then do you provide a final report on the matter which we have not completed investigating? It's flawed.
But part of the issue is because President Zuma didn't answer some of the questions.
No, she should have compelled President Zuma.
But the African National Congress, of which you are a member, said through its Secretary General, Mr. Mantashe, that release this report as quickly as possible, because otherwise you're making this a political report.
Then you have a serious problem if the public protector gets told by a party or gets told by anybody, because she must exercise her duty without any of it.
Can we agree? You've said that she acted as an investigator, prosecutor, and judge. But yes, do you agree that her actions are like those of a commission of inquiry? It's inquisitorial. It's not she doesn't have to call witnesses and have cross-examination as in the Oscar Pistorius case.
Okay, Section 7 of the Public Protectors Act. It makes provision, Section 7(9), I think, makes provision that if out of her investigation it appears that there is someone who's going to be affected adversely, she must call that person. She must have a process.
President Zuma was given this report in last year. The police minister had a chance to respond. All the security cluster had a chance to respond.
And remember, in our legal system, if you have conflicting version, there's only one way of solving it, is by calling all the parties and have cross-examination. She made finding on untested evidence.
But it wasn't a court of law. Can I just ask you one last question quickly?
Thank you.
Do you think President Zuma is fit to lead the country again for another 5 years?
We should be grateful that President Zuma, through her administration, our lifespan was 53 years. Through her administration, he intervened and provided ARVs for our people, and as a result, our lifespan is now 60, I think 16 plus. That's a huge achievement.
Comfort
And there's just too many things that is done well.
Thanks so much for your time. After the break, our winner and loser of the week. Stay with us.
News that moves. ENCA.com.